right. I am scared of that pussy because I don't know who you fucked last night, who you sucked last night, who you was with last night, and probably the nigga you fucking 30 other dirty bitches.
Well, y'all heard 37,490 people in North Carolina has been tested positive for HIV.
Damn.
Y'all be safe out there. They tripping out here.
My name is Lovely Peaches. I love to give men...
So Atlanta has 20,000 new cases of HIV. Y'all just out there throwing it on the crap table, huh?
No.
Y'all playing with y'all life? Baby, they got people that feel, and I know somebody like this. Somebody gave it to me, so I'm going to go give it to other people.
I find women to be mean as hell. I'm sorry.
They have some low-down, dirty people out there that know they sick and still out there sleeping with other people, getting them sick as well because they got caught slipping.
Especially married men so they can go home and transfer it to their wives.
What a nasty bitch.
I love spreading STDs. That's why I love to go raw. I love spreading STDs. That's why I love to go raw.
If a broad is you on the first day without a condom, don't trust her.
Sometimes I let them put a condom on and then I let them start feeling good and then I'll take that condom right off them and let them go on me raw and bam, you're infected.
I'm cool. Like,
I ain't no dirty bitch.
I ain't trying to hear it from the sound of it. You used to this shit.
Well, them the women you run from. The freaky, crazy women, those are the women you run from.
You right. I am scared of that pussy because I don't know who you fucked last night, who you sucked last night.
I'd like to give more praises to Yahweh Bashem, Shara, Kwakadash, and double honors to the elders. Salutations to the apostles and the brothers who labor in truth day and night, night and day. To you sincere sisters who love Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh loving yourself, respecting your husbands, loving your kids, taking care of your kids in the home, respecting yourself, in modest apparel, and learn the word from your husband, and staying silent. So we have a video here, people testimonies talking about promiscuous sex, and people going out here knowing that they have these things and then giving them out to people who they feel like they that don't deserve to have a clean shot because their anger and their resentment come deep down inside for them making bad decisions on sleeping with someone who had some kind of disease, and that's why it's important, man, to limit your partners, man. You know what I'm saying? And don't do it, man. Don't do it. And a lot of men that's out here whoremongering, doing these things, you're jeopardizing your life also to bring that shit back home to your wife. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of you women doing these things and bringing this shit back home to your husbands, and your husband, and he not understanding why he's sick or why you sick. You know what I mean? And you better thank the Lord that for all the women that you ran or came across, they didn't have those things. Sorry guys. So if you're being out there being promiscuous and doing these things, man, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're spreading, you're spreading, you're spreading a disease in the community, man. But then sometimes when you look at it, people that do these things ask for it. We don't feel sorry for those people that got it, but it's messed up for people that do get it, and it only takes one time. It doesn't take 2 or 3 times. It takes one time. And this lady said that she'll let them hit it with the condom, and then when it starts feeling too good, she said, don't worry about it, baby, take it off. Because when they so into the moment, they'll take it off, and then once they slide it in her, bam, they got it. So I don't care how good it is. Don't take that condom off. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that condom off, okay? Because you don't know what this woman is dealing with. Sometimes a man can tell really. You can't really tell because you don't know who they are when they're around you. But you want to be very careful, man. And you don't want to jeopardize your life and your well-being. And because someone else had made a bad decision, and now that's going to come upon you because now you're making a bad decision. Or sometimes you've been robbed from that because they doing something foul and now they harming you. You know what I mean? So I always say, man, if you're going to go out there and do these things, 1, don't be with the person. 2, if you're going to do those things, make sure you're wearing protection all the time. and get tested. You know what I'm saying? And 3, knowing that you have a polygamous lifestyle, make sure that your wife knows these things and know who the person is, and y'all get tested. You know, it's things how you supposed to, it's things out here that, you know, we don't know, man. And it's about doing things the honorable way and the right way. So don't get yourself caught up in, you know, because your lust is so burning and you can't control yourself. You know, control yourself, man. You know what I mean? You know, so at the end of the day, man, don't do those things, man. You got a lot of women out here doing these things, and this is a crime. This is a crime that will get you locked up behind bars, man. You know, and men do it too, man. You know, so you got to worry about these type of people out here spreading that disease, and you got people out here doing predatory things that are why some people, or you got people that's setting you up in the midst of it and get you killed. So there's all type of things out here, man, that, you know, that when we tell our children, yo, we don't want you guys to get caught up in the world and you know, you lose your life. You know what I'm saying? And look at the prodigal son. We're gonna get, you know what? We're gonna get there and read that scripture. Okay, give me a second, guys. Hold on, guys. Yeah, so we got before we go there, we gonna jump into the book of Luke. But before we go there, let's go to Galatians, the 6th chapter. No, I'm sorry. I want to go to Galatians 6th chapter. I'm sorry. Let's go into the blue letter Bible. This is Galatians 6 and 7. It says, be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So be very careful of what you're doing to the prophets and what you're doing to people out here, man. And don't mock the Lord, because as soon as you mock the Lord will put a severe judgment on you, man. Because whatever you sow, you're gonna reap. Whatever you put in the universe, these things come back to you. Okay, so verse 8, for he that sowed to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that sowed to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. So whatever you sow positively, that's what you're gonna reap. Okay, whatever you sow negatively, that's what you're gonna reap. You know, whatever you reap, you know, it's going to show the effects of your decision. Okay, so, and don't let Yahweh get involved with it, because, like I said, you will not like his judgment. His judgment is a fair judgment. Okay, so you don't want to test the Lord based on certain things. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's crazy because we don't want to see people. We don't want to see people lose their life, you know, based on their, you know, not having knowledge, and they're too naive, and their competency. I mean, their competent level is not up to par. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and I don't want to see y'all you know, lose your life based on people bad decision. And look, and when you get in this thing called HIV and AIDS, right? The medication alone is $5,000, man, monthly. You know what I'm saying? You know how I know? Cause my wife, she deals with these type of insurances, and she know what it costs monthly, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you don't want to deal with these type of things, man. It's not good for the spirit, man. You know, you putting yourself into limbo, man. You don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to do the right things, and you always want to be very cautionary on the decisions that you're making. Hold on, guys. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that, guys. So you have to. You also got to keep this in mind, man. The things that you do, it has effects and there's consequences behind your action. So you got to be very careful of the decisions that you're doing. And I know it sucks that sometimes there's a person that probably really like you, they love you, and then but the other person may not give a fuck, and then give them something that they didn't ask for. So it's a harsh thing out here. But that's why the Lord said out here, this is a adulterous generation, okay? And this sex here over the place, It's a terrible thing, man. You know, we all guilty of it. We all have done it. Okay? We have partners and we did this and did that. We all guilty of it, okay? So it's not to belittle anyone, but it's just also to bring forth you know what's at stake here, man. You know, just telling the truth, you know. You know, it's not to pass no ultimate judgment on someone, but it's to show you that these are the things that people, you know, go through, man. These are the things that people go through, you know what I'm saying? And it's a fucked up deal, you know what I'm saying? And now that person can't enjoy themselves with someone in a passionate, love, committed, you know, kind of way. You know, I'm talking about when you want to enjoy that with someone that don't have the same thing, but now you can't because you got to affect them. So now it's like you got to look for someone that might have it just as just like you got it. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't being healed from it, do these herbal medicines and stuff that's out here, knowing the government don't want to see you better. They want to see you sick and die. You know, and Babylon is going to go down because Babylon have all these things that's going on in this place of confusion. Okay, Babylon means place of confusion. All right. So let's get this scripture here. You know what? Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let me get this here. Let's go to Proverbs 5:12. And it says, and say, how have I hated instruction and my heart despised reproof? So a lot of us hate the Lord's instruction. We hate his reproof because we want to do what we want and we feel like this is the best option for us. Okay, verse 13, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to them that instructed me. So we have not obeyed we have not obeyed the voices of the teachers who have experience, that have seen these things or heard people testimonies or been through it themselves, and we're not taking heed of what's going on. So we ignoring them. We're not taking heed. That's what the scripture told us to take heed, so that you won't be the victim of the other side of the stick, you know, of that spectrum. Verse 14, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation assembly. All right, let me jump down. Verse 21, for the ways of a man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he pondered all of his goings. So here it is. It said, for the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord. So the things that you're doing is being measured by the eyes of the Lord, man. Okay? And if you are of the Father, you're doing the Father's work. It says, and he pondered all his goings. So the Lord watches all your doings, okay? Verse 22, his own iniquities shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cause of his sins. Verse 23, he shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. So a lot of y'all going to die without instruction. Y'all going to die. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of these young adolescents, these young teenagers, young adults, they die before their time. And some want to die before their time. They're eager to die because they live in a life of gangsterism. They live in a life of prostitution. They live in a life of manipulation, trickery, sorcery. All these things fall under the umbrella of Babylon, man. And, and this is the reason why when your mother and father is trying to instruct you and tell you, or someone that loves you and care for you, if you had that, they want to see you be better, man. Okay? Because these people truly love you. But a person that loves you won't chastise you because they don't want you to end up falling short, man, and leaving the glory of the Lord, man. All right? Because the wages of sin is death. Romans 6:23. The wages of sin is death. Now let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke, the 15th chapter, right? Let's go to Luke, the 15th chapter. And let's start at the prodigal son, okay? We'll start the 11th chapter. It says, and he said a certain man had two sons. So this Yahushua is telling a story, a testimony about a man of Israel, and he had two sons, right? And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that fall to me. So he's asking for his portion of his, that's due to him, right? And he divided to them his living. So the father divided both their shares of what they earned, right? Or what he had for them. Verse 13. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country. So he took everything he had. He wanted to go out. He wanted to do his thing, right? And there wasted his substance with vigorous living. So vigorous living means that he living wild, living beastly, living on the edge, living promiscuous, living this filthiness, right? Let's get this. Hold on, guys. Okay, we got a vigorous definition: marked by or involving public disorder. So what is those public disorders? Joining these stupid ass marches and bands and joining sexual organizations, doing all these things, man, doing all these foolishness. Okay, hold on. All right. Okay, then now it says and when and when he had spent all of everything he had, he never even took the money to try to grow or to reproduce that money, or to double his money. He took whatever he had. He wasn't thinking about investing or doing something with his money, right? He says, and when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and it began to be in want. So now famine came into that land. All right. So now the Lord was teaching him a lesson. Now famine came into the land. Now what are you going to do? You got nothing. Verse 15. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country. So he became a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. So now he's so desperate. Now he's going to eat pork. Okay. And which he wasn't supposed to do that because he's an Israelite. We're not supposed to eat pork. Right? So now he's so desperate. And I had a Vinci guy told me, he's from the tribe of Benjamin. He told me this one day. I'm at work. He said, listen, son. He will say that, yo, man, listen. He said, my father always told me, never go to another man's country if you ain't going to succeed or have. If that's the case, stay in your own country with your own countrymen and work it out and figure it out. Never go to another man's country just to be a bum. It doesn't make sense. Okay, you're losing. So he's right. So this prodigal son went to another man's country, become a citizen, and lost everything. Right? Verse 16, and he would fain had filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. All right? So no one would look at him or give him anything, because you ain't up there people. Verse 17, and when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? So now he's starting to think, damn. He said, I wonder what my father's workers and servants and what they got. Man, they in a better condition than I am. And they grateful, right? And now he's starting to hunger. Verse 18, I will arise and go to my father and will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. So now he's going to confess and say, Dad, I have sinned. I made a mistake. Can you, I done wrong and I lived foolishly. Right? And see, that means he didn't have no pride. He had no pride. And verse 19, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. So he was like, Dad, even if you don't want to put me back into what I had, I wanted to be a servant and work for you. Right? Because this is how much he appreciate what he lost. Right? Verse 20, and he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him, because he missed his son. He said, son, look at my son. No father wants to see their son going through it, man. You always want to see your son have, because he's a representation of you and you love your son, man. And that shows me the kindness and the humbleness of his father. His father was very kind and loving, man, and had a meek heart towards his son. Okay, that's what a lot of our parents got to do, man. A lot of us parents got to be very easygoing with our children, and also, gotta let them make their mistakes. So if you don't allow them to make the mistakes, how they gonna know? How they gonna grow? Okay, but you don't want them to make, the worst detrimental mistakes where they can't recover from. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It says in verse 21, and the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. So he said, Dad, I'm not even worthy to call anything to you, man, because of what I have done to you. Right? That's what the Lord always know, that when you do wrong, he know that we come back ask for forgiveness because we know we fucking up. Why you think women do that too? The majority, not all of them, because you got some people out here that have so much pride that when you even come to the Lord and ask for forgiveness, they'll die and go to the grave. And you got a lot of women like that too. But the majority of them, they come back and they try to make amends. They're trying to apologize for whatever they did. I'm not saying it's not actually infidelity, but it's their decision making. Now they're trying to come back, or how they say, spin back the block. They want to come back and say they want to get a do-over. That doesn't work like that with people. People are not God, but people will try to have the attributes of the Lord, but they still not going to allow you to come in and alter what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to live with your decision. You got to stay out there. Okay? Verse 22. I'm finna read it. Said, but the father said to his servant, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. Right? Through all the things he done, the Lord, his father still gave him what he deserves. So that's like us, man. All the sin that we've done, and that's why we need to come to Yahweh so that he can forgive our sins. For all the evil we've done, it has some kind of great significance, because it gives us a fresh start to get our minds right, and so that the Lord can forgive all those things that we've done, to have a fresh start, to hopefully that we can make it to the kingdom. Right? Verse 23, and bring hither the fatty calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. So he rejoices that, oh man, we coming together. Verse 24, for this my son was dead and is alive again. See, he was dead. What was he dead to? He was dead spiritually to the commandments. He was dead spiritually to the creed and the things that his father was saying from the law. Okay, he was dead to the Most High. Okay, but now he came back and repented and appreciate what he had. Now he's back to life by breathing what? The commandments back into his spirit, by reading the word of the Lord, repenting, being repentful, change his mindset now. Okay, that's when you read 1 Kings chapter 8 verse 47. Tell you repenting is the renewing of your mind. So your mind has to change to do something better. Your mind has to change the situation. You have to become better, become wiser, become stronger, become most honorable. You understand? He was lost and found. He was lost. Okay. And they began to marry. Verse 25. Now his eldest son was in the field, and he came and drew near to the house. Now it means near to the house. He heard music and dancing. He said, what's this? He heard music and dancing. People, what's going on? Verse 26. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. He's like, what's going on? He lost. Verse 27. He said to him, thy brother has come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. Verse 28. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore, now the older son angry. He said, wait a minute. This dude left, complained, he bitch about him living his own life, and you gave it to him just to go and just to accept him back again. So the son couldn't understand it, but he don't understand is that sometimes as a parent you gotta let your kids make the mistake, and when they come back to daddy, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Can you please forgive me? Based on what it is. And he knew that his son was very, very remorseful. He said, all right, my son, he's very remorseful, so he needs this. So let me love my son. Okay? He was teaching his son one day, if you become a father, this is what you need to do. have forgiveness, right? Okay. But don't be a fool at the same time. Okay. He was angry, would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. Verse 29. And he answered, said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandments. See, so he's like, Father, but I do all these things. I ain't breaking no commandment, but you giving this man a party and he done broke all laws. Watch this. I at any time thy commandments, and yet thou never gavest me a kid that I might make merry with my friends. Verse 30. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots. So he done went around sleeping with women and doing all kind of foolishness. What's that television show? It's called 2.5 Men, where Charlie Sheen plays he plays like he's a whoremonger and he's a womanizer. So he goes and play with women. He had sex with all kind of stuff. The other brother, he's more of the opposite. He's like more like a simp. Like he's scared, or he let women or men, go over him. But the brother, he don't allow that shit. The reason why he joined his life because women respect the bad guys. So, but the difference between him and this guy here, that he had all the fun, but once he have it, the women didn't want him no more. Or people didn't want to deal with him. Okay. So sometimes you have it, people always around when you got it, but when you don't have it no more, you never find them. They don't exist, right? Okay. Not to transgress I any time. No, I read that. Thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. Verse 31. And he said to him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. So his father said, whatever I have is yours, and you are my son. Verse 32. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. So that's a lot. That's what a lot of most of us are. We are very lost in the spirit, but then the Lord can wake us up, and now we are found. So that's the blessing of the Lord, man. It's a blessing for the Lord to do that, man. Look what the Lord did for Apostle Paul on the road to Damascus, man. Paul knew he was Israelite. Paul knew about the commandments, but he was lost. How he was lost? Because he didn't understand the grace and the mercy that Yahweh was giving us Israelites to redeem ourselves, to come back to the Father. Okay, so once he did that to him on the road to Damascus, Paul accepted what it was, and he started to understand who Yahweh is, all right, and do right by the people. All right, so anyway, I'll do it edifying, man. Don't do these things. Oh, you know what? Let me get. All right, it says, is it a crime if someone has HIV? Will you go to jail? And it says yes. Intentionally spreading HIV can be a crime in many places, but the specific law and their application vary significantly. So according to what that state that you're in, by state and country, many laws criminalize knowingly exposing another person to the virus through sexual contact or other means without you even letting them know that, listen, this is what I got, and you didn't even do that. You robbed that from someone, right? Slakia. Exposing another person to the virus through sexual contact or other means, and these laws often require the prosecution to prove intent or the defendant's knowledge of the HIV positive status. Some laws are in effect even if no one becomes infected. Okay, so just in case if that happens, so they can't say, "Oh, we didn't know." No, you didn't know, so they protect themselves. Key aspects of HIV criminalization laws. Okay, so I'm not gonna read all of it. It's just going to the importance of it. All right, so guys, just be careful, man. Don't do that, man. It's a crime. It's a felony. You'll go to jail. Just don't do it. And then you do that to people, family members that's in jail, knowing that you're doing it, you're gonna get killed, man. Because now you ruin their lives, man. You don't rob something from their life as a life of innocence. All right, so hope to be edifying. Shalom.